This time we're going over the Ultra God Mission 9 secret cards. So there's actually 4 in total this time, which is pretty cool. One more than they usually have. So first of all, we have the Ultra Sengoku. This is right from the promo anime. You can see the card art is looking pretty nice. It's got the Warrior in Black and the Future Warrior in Black doing the combined attack. So pretty cool stuff. He does have a new super attack. Unfortunately, the cost is really high. 9 hero energy is really, really high. But this card is more defensive anyways. So as for his main ability, if the enemy team has 5 enemies in it or more, then when Goku's group is attacked, you only take half the normal damage, and also the enemy will only do half the normal fixed damage. So normal damage and fixed damage are both halved, which is pretty damn good. Especially for the fixed damage, it's quite good counter for this meta. And if the Goku is by himself when he's attacked, so as in not part of a group, then he'll only take 90%. Well, sorry, he'll only take 10% of normal damage, so reduced by 90%, which is pretty good. And the enemy will do no fixed damage whatsoever, so it's pretty good. So obviously a lot more defensive when he's by himself. But honestly, you'll probably see this guy more as a group, more with a group, because he is a hero type, and there's a lot of good kind of other cards you can put with this guy. And I can make an all-hero kind of deck, right? With all hero types. And we're probably going to see a lot more of those kind of all-hero type decks this mission, I think. But really good stuff. He's actually really strong. Like, really solid defensively. So yeah. And on this third round, he's got a summon. Of course, he's going to summon the Warrior in Black and the Future Warrior in Black. It's kind of like a combined Kamehameha. And it's pretty strong, so do some damage. And if you have 10 hero energy, then the damage will be increased, and the enemy's damage reduction will be lowered by 200%, which basically means they'll take 3 times damage from the on. So pretty good stuff. But third round is pretty late, and 10 hero energy for the boost is pretty high. I mean, like it's pretty 9 hero energy, which is pretty high. But also this is 10 hero energy for the boost, so quite a high cost overall for both of these, hero energy wise. But yeah, he's more defensive, and I think he's going to have a really quite a solid role for this meta. Okay, at number 2 we have another change switch card. This is pretty surprising, considering we had one last mission, so 2 in a row. It's pretty funny. This one, of course, has Super Saiyan Vegito and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, so pretty cool stuff, both from the Buu Saga. So these change switch cards are always really strong, and this one is no exception. Also, this is probably actually the strongest card of this mission. He's really, really powerful. So all their stats are pretty balanced. The Vegito has a bit more power, but it's less guard than the Gotenks. But yeah, good stats overall, both of them. And for Vegito's ability, so when you choose him, he'll greatly increase the CI speeds of all the enemies, and he'll reset all of your allies' CI speeds, and basically they can't be changed for that round, so pretty good stuff. It's pretty good for that charge impact support. And each time he wins a attacking CI on his own, then he'll increase his own damage by 5,000 each time. So if he'll win it 4 times, right, then he'll do basically 20,000 damage, right? So it stacks. So it's pretty damn powerful. And of course, he does have his own kind of effect to make it easier for him to win those. So yeah, that's pretty damn powerful, man. Like, that's really, really good just from that one ability alone. Yeah, he's a monster. And then for Gotenks, so his ability, first of all, each time you use him, he'll basically increase his miracle chance, and also his super attack is always available, which is kind of a common theme with these Gotenks cards. So yeah, basically keeps stacking his miracle chance up higher and higher each round, which is cool. And if you win the powerful battle each round, then all of your allied attackers' ki will be completely recovered, which is insane. Like, if you win it, it's 100% recovery for every ally attacker, which is ridiculously strong. And also you get 2 hero energy, which is pretty good. Of course, you do have to win those power level battles, but even so, man, that's full recovery, right? And if you have your whole team up in attack, that's your whole team, like 100% recovery for their ki, which is insanely good. So yeah, both, again, like, the biggest strength of these cards is, of course, having 2 options, right? Like 2 abilities. So, like, especially for the Gotenks, like, if you know you can't win the power level battle that turn, then it's probably better to go for the Vegito. So yeah, there's a lot of just versatility with these cards, which is kind of their biggest strength, of course. But yeah, still probably the strongest card of this mission, I do believe. And now we have the Climax Change card of this mission. This is, of course, Super Buu. So he starts off in his base form, then Piccolo absorbed, Gotenks absorbed, and finally Gohan absorbed. So 4 forms. So we finally have all the 3, I guess, major Dragon Ball Z villains getting their Climax Change cards, which is pretty cool. And he's actually probably the weakest of these 4 secrets, unfortunately. So go as to why. So for his main ability, at the start of each round, if this Super Buu has more power than all of the enemies, then he'll lower all the enemy's ki down to 0, which is pretty strong. Though if there is a Mr. Satan in the enemy team, then the effect will be weakened, but like you're never going to see him in the enemy team though. But it's kind of a nice, kind of fun little, I guess, part of his ability there. But he's probably the weakest, mainly because, I mean, that's nice, right? Lowering all the enemy's ki to 0. But that alone isn't like going to win you the battle, and you'd have to have more power than all the enemies, which could be kind of difficult. And also, when he attacks each round, his ki damage that he does to the enemy will be increased like each round. And he also always target the enemy with the most power, which could be good, but it's not always the best thing. So already not like super good. As for his comet exchange effect, so once he goes into that Gohan absorbed form, he'll recover all of his ki to 100%, which is not bad. And his power and guard will be increased by 30,000, which is a pretty good number there. Especially for the power, that can kind of help with his main ability, right? Getting the most power, more power than the enemies. But that's kind of it, and that's nothing really amazing. Maybe like 2 years ago, he would have been probably really good. But in the current meta, with so many like really strong cards, he's not really going to cut it. And last but definitely not least, we have, for me, the most hyped card of this whole mission. This is Goku GT. This is basically his first transformation into Super Saiyan 4. You can see you got Pan there, Goku raging out, then the Golden Great Ape, and then finally the legendary Super Saiyan 4. So really cool art for one thing. And he's really expensive, so hopefully I can get him, but yeah, he's definitely not cheap. And he's pretty strong as well. So on the second round, he can transform into the Golden Great Ape, and if he does a super attack in that form, he'll lower the enemy's hero energy by 4, which is not bad, but that's definitely not his best ability. So, and on the following turn, well, at the start of the following turn, he'll automatically transform into Super Saiyan 4, and he'll become immune to ki damage, and his power and power level will be times by 6, which is pretty damn good. But if you have the GT Pan in your team, then instead of 6 times, they'll be times by 12 times. So potentially 12 times power and power level on the third turn is pretty damn insanely strong. That's like really good. So yeah, really good stuff there. And for his main ability on the first round, he'll permanently boost your entire team's power and guard by 5,000. And during that round, the enemy's damage will be halved, which is pretty good. So quite a good support on the first round when he's still in that base form. And once he's into Super Saiyan 4, based on how little hero energy the enemy has, he'll do extra damage that turn, like extra fixed damage. So you really want to keep the enemy at like zero hero energy, just to kind of get the most damage out of this card, right? I think I saw one shot where he did like, I think it was like 12,000 damage extra, but I can't remember how much hero energy the enemy had. But basically, the less hero energy the enemy has, the more damage this card will do. It's pretty strong. It's actually not bad. I mean, he's definitely stronger than the Super Buu, but I'll still probably put him less. I'll probably put him lower than the Goku Ultra Instinct and the Change Switch Vegeta and Gotenks in terms of strength. But he's definitely still usable. Just not quite as strong as those other two. But it's still good. And yeah, I really want to get this card. So hopefully I can get him somehow without pulling him, which I doubt, or just buying him outright. But yeah, hopefully I can get him to you at some point because he's a really cool card. And yeah, like for a collection, that's kind of a really top tier kind of card, you know. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.